Well. Good afternoon. How we doing today, brother?
All good, man. How you feeling?
I'm feeling great, man. I just happy and blessed that you're here. You came all the way from Chicago, and off cameras, we talked a little bit about how you found us, how you reached out, how everything happened. And thank you for that.
Absolutely. I appreciate the prompt response for sure. You guys are definitely ahead of your game.
I have a quick question to begin. You open up with this, man, because I saw your Instagram page and I was like, Malakian. Is that how you say it? Malakian?
It's you say Malachi?
Malachi, yes, the Malachi.
It's the Malachian Empire.
Is that a country or somewhere out there? Because I saw you had on your Instagram, right?
Mm-hmm. So it's actually we're considered a micronation. So we're a micronation and a non-federal tribal organization.
Oh, that sounds interesting. Can you elaborate a little bit about that so other people can understand about you? What were you born over there? You came over here for that?
So a micronation is actually a nation inside of a nation. Right, so we are indigenous to this land here that we call North America, right? So we establish ourselves here in North America, and this is we're still fairly young, around 5-6 years old.
Oh, okay, I love that. Well, I got a question right here. Let's start getting it. LLC limited liability companies are now becoming maximum liability companies. Can you elaborate on that?
Maximum liability. Yeah. So I don't know if you heard, but there's been a lot of fuss about coming. The start of next year, the government is gonna start penalizing the owners of LLCs due to the Transparency Act to reveal all owners of the LLCs, and if they don't, do certain reportings within a certain period of time of that year, they can potentially be penalized and charged, up to $500 per day, and I've even heard speculations of potential jail time. So that means that limited liability companies have now become or are gonna possibly become your maximum liability companies, but that's based on your position within the LLC, which is our focus, in the Malachian Empire, and as well as our business development company, Trade Capital. So when I say that, as far as your position within the company, I mean on how that business is structured and how you're structured within that business. So typically, a person would start an LLC as a single member, which means it'll be disregarded as a corporation or whatever, and they would have to do their taxes within the aspect of that. But we more so structure our LLCs, or recommend that people structure their LLCs as a form of like a partnership, maybe. So we establish a trust for the LLC as like a holding company. So in essence, the trust becomes the actual owner by classification. So we never recommend people classify themselves as the owners of any corporation, let alone a LLC. So the proper position inside of an LLC should be for the individual should be, if anything, if they're even on the books, if you're going to be registered with the Secretary of State, in relation to your corporation, you should be listed as either or all the above, the secretary, treasury, or the manager, and then the owner of the LLC is the trust, or the managing member. So if you think about that, if the liability comes with ownership. So all these speculations of penalties is all related to the owner. So if you are not the owner, how can you be penalized? Right? So all any penalties or of any such would if any, that would be subject to the trust, which has its own individual, methods of protection against penalty and taxation and stuff like that. But the name of the game is own nothing, control everything.
Man, I I always have question, not only myself but other people that I hear, brother. Let's see if you can answer this. That first make income and before you get like a DVA or an LLC, and then structureize it after, or because of the taxes. What do you think about that? Should you just automatically get the LLC or a DBA, or just start making the income, and then when you see that is you're making some income coming in, you're like, all right, I'm gonna establish and structureize it right with a DBA or an LLC or a corporation or whatever it is. Can you tell the people out there about that?
I think my recommendation, based upon what you said, would be, it sounds like you're asking, is it best to kind of test the market first?
Yeah.
Should I test the market of my new business and my idea to see if it even makes sense to follow through with it? As far as going into a corporation, then trademarks and everything else that goes along with establishing the business. And I would say, yeah, any business that you decide to go in, you definitely should test the market before putting all your eggs in one basket, because it could be a hit or a miss, because it's business, right? So sometimes the ideas that we have might be great. It just might not be the proper time. It might not be the you might not have the proper resources or funding or the proper education to put yourself in a pivotal position inside the industry of that particular where that company is at. So now once you test the market, you've made some money, it makes sense. You should definitely go straight into the incorporation. I wouldn't do the only time I would recommend a person operating as a DBA if they were it would be an extension or an addition to the corporation, meaning that if you had you said you had a roofing company, right?
No, I have a friend that has a roofing company.
So okay, so your friend has a roofing company, and say the roofing company may be called Major Roofers LLC, right, or INC, and he also has an extension of that company that may be called that may deal with landscaping, right? So now he could establish a DBA for that LLC, called. So the name of the LLC is all for one roofing, but they're gonna do business as all for one landscaping, right? So you just add an extension to the actual parent company. So the DBA is like a child, having a child brand to your parent brand, and the reason why you want to do that, because that alleviates the you have to establish a completely different corporation, because if you establish a completely different corporation, that means you should establish completely different bank account, bookkeeping, taxes. Everything has to be completely done over. So it's like taking care of multiple kids at one time, pretty much, instead of just being able to manage everything in one house. So that's where DBA makes more sense for me, as opposed to if you're really operating in a serious business, you don't want to just operate solely as a DBA, because if you operate solely as a DBA, that means you operate solely as an individual, or a sole proprietor, which defeats the purpose of doing business. So that means anything that you're doing in the business world, you could potentially be held liable personally. That's
very true. And it's good, like you said, test the waters, because a lot of people just jump in and they blame it. I started a business, I went to the LLC, I don't have no clients, I don't have this, and it's okay. Sometimes I think that you got to take a risk. Sometimes different mindsets, different personalities, they're like, I'm going to go get it. I'm a hustler. I know I'm going to make it. So there's no way that I'm going to, just because I got the LLC or a corporation and I don't have any clients, I'm going to make things happen. It's crazy, because it's both of the lines, left or right. There's no right answer.
It's really not, and you know, in every business there's risk factors, but risk factors have to be, you know, acknowledged and evaluated, just like anything else, just like success factors. You know, everybody gets in a business because they feel like it's gonna make money, so that's besides the point. You know, so now we have to take you know, allocate our time to, you know, to project potential risk factors, you know, both you know, small and big, and determine, you know, if those risks makes good sense and makes good business sense, you know,
That's
because
very true.
there's going to be a learning curve with everything in life, right? So, you know, with the learning curves and, you know, learning your business, while at the same time learning your industry, right? And learning your business's position in the industry, on where it needs to be, where it needs to start, and what it needs to do to scale, right? Because a lot of businesses, you know, a lot of people start businesses and they're kind of locked in the box, and people become slaves of their own corporation because they don't know how to scale. They haven't positioned themselves into a position where they can actually scale that business.
Man, that's right. But let's get back a little bit, because I know you're explaining about the LLC and the DBA and all of the things that are very important for a business. But someone new that is out there and wants to know who you are, can you just tell a little bit about your background, where you came from, the things that you did before this that uplift you up and say, you know what, I want to be an entrepreneur. I want to go this, or it was running from the family already.
Yeah, it wasn't. It definitely wasn't. It wasn't entrepreneurship. Well, I would say it didn't run in the family. Um, I would say my mother was the entrepreneur uh, in the family. So I did see that. I learned that. I learned a lot of that indirectly from her. Outside of that, you know, well, my grandfather too, actually. My grandfather, even though I didn't really get a chance to see that per se, but I kind of had a high awareness of his role um, and his history in entrepreneurship. So I kind of just, you know, took that and ran with it, you know, and always, you know, because he was a great influence on me and the things I do as far as being a businessman, you know, creating my own, you know, corporations, businesses, and stuff like that, and just being a, like, quote unquote serial entrepreneur. Uh, you know, he was a great influence on that. So I started my first business. I believe it was somewhere in high school. I think I was right during senior year or right after. I was about probably 19 years old when I started my first business. Of course, it wasn't nothing major. I think I was selling some type of this product called the greatest vitamin in the world or whatever. And then I started, you know, just reselling products and, you know, building websites and stuff like that. I just slowly but surely started just trying things. Anything that you know, when you first, especially when you're young, you kind of just trying anything that you think will make you some money. That didn't cost much to start up, because you didn't have any you didn't have any startup cost, any startup money, you know, to start up. So you had to make something from nothing or just be creative. And it's just slowly but surely I just start jumping to many different industries, from designs, media, you know, artist management, you know, as far as the music, models, had a model management company, had a promotion company, marketing company, just I had a lot of different companies that focused on different aspects of different things within different industries, and then just slowly but surely went into the legal aspect of things when I, you know, first started my credit repair business, and then just started diving deep into certain aspects of law and just offering different services. But that's when the whole nation and tribal aspect came along and stuff like that. But it's always been about business, creating business, you know, and not only creating business, understanding business management, understanding really what it meant to you know, to scale and to, you know, to be able to create a business that can sustain itself during pandemics and stuff like that, so no matter what happens, you can still at least survive off that particular business. So there's a science to that. And I definitely think if I didn't master anything, I definitely mastered that.
You said something very important, like everybody that has a business right now, well, in a job, pandemic, you don't know when is the next one. It might happen next year. And if you're not set, your mindset is gonna kill your business. You already saw it on when the pandemic happened. A lot of people lost their business. A lot of people right now are losing their business. Rates, we were talking about it. The rates are up there. I mean, and even if they cut the rates right now, that's gonna be even worse because that's gonna means that we're gonna need stimulus to get the people up because it's time for the new president and all of this stuff. But it's crazy, that even though you have to find a way in your business that is gonna stand alive, that don't just think about, oh, it's gonna pass by. No, you gotta figure a creative, positive way that is gonna keep on growing, and you have to keep on growing with it because sometimes we gotta upgrade. We're hustling and grinding, and it's not all about a hustle and grinding. You gotta upgrade to the CEO. You gotta upgrade and get out of the business. And those are the things that I've been learning as well. It's like we just want to be here.
You say you got to upgrade and get out of the business. Well, yeah, I mean, that statement is not really understood because we come from, especially when you come from nothing. It's like, we get emotionally attached to our brands. We get emotionally attached to. We have emotional attachment issues, in general, by nature of our experiences in life. So now the beauty of being able to build and create something as a creator is also understanding the power to recreate and to separate, because a lot of times the separation is an essential component to your own personal growth and development and the growth and development of your business. The whole objective is to be able to create something that can operate and run on its own without you being there having to micromanage it. Of course, when you first start a business, you may have to be the secretary, the manager,
everything.
If you own a bar, you're gonna have to be the bartender, the doorman, and this, that, the accountant, all those things. And even if a person was in a position to hire all these people right off back, I honestly think it's more beneficial, at least at some point in a person's entrepreneurial life, to at least have to go through the experience of having to man every position. Think about it, manager, right? So everybody needs to have the experience of truly managing the entire operation. So if the entire operation operates like an assembly line. So if anybody ever worked at an assembly line type business like Ford Motors and stuff like that, I have. So you're working those 12-hour shifts. You know how the assembly line works. Every component of every position in the assembly line is an essential for the operations of the assembly line. If one person's post go down, the whole assembly line stops, right? So as the manager, having the experience of being able to actually accomplish the job of managing all areas of your business, and knowing what areas actually need to be managed, because a lot of us are simply leaving a lot of positions abandoned, and we don't even. It's one thing to leave them abandoned. It's another thing to have abandoned positions within your operation that you don't even realize are abandoned, right? or necessity to oversee. But if you had the experience of each individual, if you got 12 positions within your business, right, and you had the individual personal experience of managing that, managing and mastering that position of your operation, because this is your business. So it's actually nobody's responsibility to master your business but you first, right? Now once you've accomplished that, now you in a better position, as far as your personal level of competence in that position as it relates to that position to properly hire a person to manage that position. If not, that's where you're gonna risk spending money within the budget that you may not even be able to afford, of hiring somebody that's not actually qualified to manage that position.
That's facts. That's very true. Everything that you have to manage yourself first. And then hiring and firing, man, that's another thing too, right?
knowing when to hire and knowing when to fire. Sometimes you got to let it go. I like the example when this is easy. Sometimes it's easier said than done, especially because a lot of times when we get into business, we hire people that we love, people that we have relationships with, family and friends and stuff like that. And it may be true enough that in the start of a business or a certain period of time that these people may have qualified for that particular position at that particular time. But if 2-3 years go down the line and they have not progressed and they have not grown within the business itself as you and the business have grown, you got to kind of make other considerations now, right? Because if your team is not growing, that is going to be cause issues with the ultimate growth and development of the business, long term. Everybody has to grow. You need your team. You can't afford to have a stagnant team. I remember during the pandemic, what kind of helped me with, psychologically and emotionally with this, making these decisions, and making myself understand that this is okay. It's okay to let people go and stuff like that, based upon knowing that your position is to make the hard decisions, to secure the survival of your business. You see what I mean? Like, I remember Grant Cardone. You ever heard of Grant Cardone?
Oh, I got his books right here.
Look, so Grant Cardone, one of the highlights that I remember about him is that, during the pandemic, I don't know if you remember, he fired everybody. Not everybody. He fired like half the team, at least. Half the team. He let them go. Like instant. Once he realized, the pandemic first happened, he didn't know what was about to happen. He had to make a split decision, a quick decision, expeditiously, to make sure that the whole building did not burn, to secure. You see what I mean? But everybody, he got a lot of backlash, and stuff like that. But he did what he had to do. He leveraged, but then because he was in the proper position in his business, he was able to actually benefit and leverage the chaos, right, of the pandemic, right. So now he was actually able in a position to scale the business even more, which now he was able to now reposition the business and now reposition the people that was originally in the positions before he had to fire them and make them whole again. You know what I'm saying? So he had to make a harsh decision, but he still remained honorable and, to his people, and that's what it's all about. Now they didn't understand it at the time, but I bet they learned it. I bet they get it now. I bet they respect it now. So the point of that is that saying that everybody is not going to get it and everybody's not going to agree. And you can't afford to wait for everybody to get it and everybody to agree in order for you to make the decisions that you need to make. You are the boss. You are the CEO, right? You are the owner. You are the controller, right? You are the creator, So you can't afford to wait for everybody to get it, everybody to understand.
That's true, man. And I remember when I saw him, guess what he did? He started creating a lot of content. Even till now. He just went in Instagram, YouTube, and he said, and it was the best time for a lot of people. Well, a lot of people took it seriously and created a lot of content, even till now. Even Gary Vaynerchuk, Gary V, He
Yeah.
tells you, man, yeah, you gotta post this. I'm not telling you to do it, but this is how much you gotta post. And when you have a chance and you can hire somebody that can follow you, that's more content. Cause now they're following you.
Yes.
I know that you see me. He said it, man. You see me, but I got to a point where I got money to spend to actually have a crew follow me.
Right.
So a crew follow me in this, and the other crew is doing this, and we're doing podcasts. And people think it's easy, but it's not, man.
Oh no.
It's not.
No.
And we talked about it, before. It's like, oh man, yeah, buying the cameras, buying these, and the lights, just set it up and record. No, man, you gotta understand how the cameras work, how the lightning works, how the microphone works. Just like people, man, right? You gotta understand the people who you talk to build the right relationship.
Yeah.
Not everybody's gonna fit in your circle.
They're not.
You might put somebody that you might think is even a family, and it's gonna just a domino effect, and boom, then you got to figure out.
You hit it right on the head. Like you have to select people that fit, that complement the mission, to its entirety. Not just oh they're cool for this and that. They can't be in especially main positions of your organization. That are not in it for the long run, and that do not understand the mission, and that do not complement the mission. I have a lot of people that I select for my personal team. I have them do certain things like, I make people watch Billions, the whole seasons of Billions before, and we have to have dialogue and discussions about, so I can understand, if they understand the psychology on what the hell is going on in these particular webisodes and stuff like that. Because you got to have a certain mind frame to be able to do the things that we do. You have to have a certain mindset to be an entrepreneur in general.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? You can't be in a room full of, no disrespect, employees. Employees, a person that's only been an employee in his life cannot give you the proper advice on what you need to do for your business. It's impossible.
Yeah.
You see what I mean? So, because when we first go into business, a lot of us have to go through the spell. Some take years, some never get out of it, of reprogramming the mindset, because we a lot of us don't know that, but we bring that employee mindset into our business, where people think business is just about making money. Anybody can sell something, and make some money, but do you really understand business? And do you really understand the business in general? And do you have you adopted any form of business ethics? Like business ethics is so important to the scalability of your business, because that's directly related to the importance of understanding the relationships that you would need to establish to scale your businesses, which is also attached to your resources, because these relationships with these people become some of your ultimate resources. So now these people become what we know and classify as our human resources. You know what I'm saying? So my best business friends and associates are my greatest business resources.
And another thing too, discipline, man.
Discipline.
And habits. When you have a discipline and you make them habits, it's like I tell a couple of people ask me, damn man, you do actually go work out every day? I'm like, yeah. And the most important thing that I see it on me too is like today I woke up and I'm like, I'm not gonna go work out today. I just don't. Guess what? I already made it a habit. So my mind is telling me you gotta go. There's no excuse. And guess what? I did it. So I started realizing when you make a habit, a positive habit through the months, and it becomes just truthfully a habit, your brain won't let you go back.
Yeah.
And if you can do that in all aspects of your life, boom, man. Imagine how your life will change progressively through the month, through the years, because you switch your mindset through the best things of life on all aspects of it. Mm-hmm. It's crazy, right? But I mean, it's true.
We have to reprogram ourselves. Reprogramming the mind. reprogramming the body, reprogramming the soul, because everything is connected, everything, because, ironically, making sure that we continuously condition the body, is helping us condition the mind, which, replenishes the spirit, and people don't really understand why one is connected to the next, because and psychologically it's almost like, in sports, right? Me personally, I personally believe being a business entrepreneur, right? It's a sport. You know what I'm saying? It's a sport.
Mm-hmm.
It's a sport, right? So if you put yourself in like a sport mentality, sport mindset of your most favorite, sports players and whatever your favorite sport is, you got to think of that. You got to adopt that mindset where it's like, the days that you're tired, you got to program. You got to create a voice in your head to be like, I don't have time to sleep, right? Even within reason, meaning that push yourself. Don't allow yourself to give yourself excuses, because I see a lot of people push things off. Well, let me ask you this. So it's the tomorrow mentality, right? It's that, well, you just do it tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
You just do it tomorrow. There is see in the sport and in the business and sport of entrepreneurship, there is no tomorrow.
There's no
right?
tomorrow.
It's like do it and get it done now, because if you keep pushing everything to tomorrow, this day, see, you actually disrespecting the reality of tomorrow, because the reality of tomorrow is you might have plans for tomorrow, right? But you don't know what's already planned, what tomorrow already has planned for you.
Yep. That's facts.
You don't even know what tomorrow has planned for you.
That's facts.
So now what happened is you didn't push this off. You didn't push something that was supposed to be done that could have been very well been done today if you just applied yourself and discipline based upon your discipline and applied yourself. You would have been resolved that. Now tomorrow they came. You got your to-do list and the stuff you're supposed to do yet, completed yesterday, and now your car went out. This happened, that happened. This person called. So now, it's pushed back again. It's pushed back again. Now you mess around, never do it, right?
Yep.
Your motivation to do it might have been depleted now. It's like, we got to really understand that. So, and then, for me, I always think like, I'm always working while my competition is asleep. Right? Even though it's not about competition,
no.
It's the programming the beast entrepreneur mindset. And that to push you through to getting the work done. Right? Because that's the difference between being a CEO, entrepreneur, and controller over your own, and being responsible for how and when you eat, right? As opposed to going as an employee to a 9-to-5 job, where all you have to do, the biggest struggle is getting there. You get there, most jobs, once you learn it, you don't have to really use your brain when you get there to complete the task. It's not like a mental challenge all the time, depending on what it is, of course. But but you have that sense of security, at least if nothing else, to know if I show up, I punch this clock and I do this task, I'm gonna get paid, right? See, as an entrepreneur, that's out the window. Mm-hmm. You might not know how you gonna eat today, but all you know is you need to do whatever you got to do to make it happen. That's a different ball game there. And you only know that when you're 100% in, and not when you still full time there and you're doing this on the side. Nah. We can't have the same conversations if you haven't done that yet. You know what I'm saying?
All in.
It's a different ball game, because you're gonna when you're 100% in, your decisions are gonna be 100% different now. Your mindset is gonna be 100% because you can't afford it not to be. That's how I feel about that. So so I definitely take it like it's a sport. When I go to the gym, it's pressed because it's entrepreneurship actually is a mental sport. You know, it's a purely like mental, constantly pushing because you have to constantly learn. As an entrepreneur, you can't afford not to know the imperative things about the world around you, the business that you're in, and everything. It's constant learning. So now we had to become masters of self-education, self-preservation, and just self-application. Because now because that transition is a process where it's like, all right, you need to study, but how long does it take you to study? How long is it taking you to learn? How long does it take you to actually comprehend what you're learning? And now, how long is it going to take you to actually apply the action?
Yep. And it's right. You're right. I mean, when you're all in, you're all in, and you just don't know how. Damn, am I gonna be able to pay the rent? Not only my rent, is am I able to pay here the studio rent? Like sometimes people don't understand that. They see us and they might see like all this content or you're flying here and there, but they don't know. They don't, and this right here is important too for everybody out there that is creating content. You must show people your failures too. You must show. I do it, dude. I mean, some people hate on me because like sometimes I go and do a little video and I'm like, hey man, I only have like $20 on my bank account and I'm still here. Look at the time and I'm still here. I'm creating content. I'm not afraid of talking about money. That's another important thing. All of us as human race, we're scared. You ask somebody, how much money is in your bank account? Oh, man, they won't even answer that. Why do you want to know? I'm like, shit, I only have $10. $10? Yeah, man. But hey, I'm still here.
But look, though, that's more of a reason why you must commit to it.
Yeah, right?
You see what I mean? It's like, and kind of, I remember the days where it's like, man, that struggle where, I just kind of left the workforce officially 100%. I think this was like maybe, I don't know, 2009-ish maybe. And, but I was still kind of in limbo, playing the fence. It was eating at my psyche, like I remember the particular road I'm driving down, and it used to be this big old sign in white and red, well, a white sign in red text, and it was just saying like, we're hiring. It was some company or whatever, like alarm system company or something like that. And it was just like, it was trying to tell my mind that, you know what? All right, you feeling the pressure right now, trying to recreate yourself, right? And to make yourself an essential in the business that you're in, but it's like, hey, you know what? Hey, but you can just come over here and work for us, for part-time for a little bit of time, and that'll give you a little cushion. See, everybody looking for like, I don't want the cushion. I want to sleep on the floor. I don't want the cushion, because the cushion is a crutch that is hard to get rid of, because you're always going to be looking for that cushion. It's that cushion mindset.
The comfortable mindset.
It's like I fell in love with the aspect of discomfort.
Discomfort, yeah.
Because I know like, I'm able to take the pressure to push myself through the new doors that I need to go through, or into the room of reinventing myself or forcing myself to do the things that I know I need to do. It could be just task. A lot of this stuff got to do with task. Sometimes you become conscious of what needs to be done, but you just haven't done it yet, right? So it's like it could be just a multitude of different tasks, like in relation to your business. Anything. You like you said something about CMS. Imagine people that weren't aware about that, but they've been doing business, the traditional way for 10 years, and now you're talking about they have to convert. Like that's a process. Somebody having to convert all, because think about this. And of course, you want to have the best, not just any CMS system. You want to have the best. You want to have one that can do a multitude of different things. Oh, speaking of that, we also we have a there's a CMS system called All for One Solutions that you guys need to get your hands on. But this is an all-in-one system where you can manage your accounting, your invoicing, your community websites, your course builders for people that's building master classes, your calendars for you and all your employees or your partners. Anything you could think of is in this system. You want to build your own link tree. You want to build your own applications, your funnels, your surveys. It's unlimited. It has AI integration in it, auto response systems. Got your ManyChat features in here. All this stuff is in here. So a lot of people are used to having 10, 12 different subscriptions that to providers that do different things. So now, if you introduce an all-in-one product and solution, which will guarantee to scale their business, it's hard for people to make that transition, because now they got to put in the time to learn. See, I can give you the best system in the world. Are you going to put in the time to learn the system? Are you going to put in the time to migrate all of your content, all of your data into the new system in order to use it, right? It's like, that is hard. I'm not going to lie to you. That is a very hard and uncomfortable task. But you gotta do it.
It needs to be done.
It has to be done, because you will not. The world is moving too fast. You have to develop and take advantage of automated systems, or your look. Don't you know how people be like, you present something to them and they be like, oh, I'll think about it, to make it feel like, now whether they go this direction or that direction, they need to make a decision in relation to what you're talking about. This is not nothing that you could just be like, oh, I don't think that's for me. If you don't find a way to implement some form of automation and artificial intelligence technology within the management of your business, you're not going to survive for the next 5-10 years. Just guaranteed.
Facts, man. That's a bomb right there. You won't. And you mentioned something important. You have everything on all of the things that you said. You can do the funnels. You can do everything. So now you don't have to be like, let me go sign up for the other one. Let me go sign up for the other one. You got on one platform. And guess what? I am been telling people this, who knows if YouTube, Facebook, or anything of this just is gone or something happens. And where's the data?
Where's the data?
Because that data that we have there, it's a free platform, but it's their data.
Yes. Yes.
You need the data. You need to have these emails so you can actually contact those people outside of Facebook, outside of Instagram, and be like, hey, I'm sending you a free ebook, man. Hey, I'm going to send you this. Do you want to join my mastermind? You want to go to lunch and dinner? Let's meet up. How can we collaborate? But through there, if anything happens, man, and I seen that a lot of people. Remember one time that Facebook went out for like 4 or 5 hours? Mm-hmm. I don't know if it was last year. Mm-hmm. And I had people that everything that they were doing, it was Facebook. They were doing advertisement only on Facebook.
Right.
So they were like scared and afraid. And guess what? If you saw that it happened once, don't you think it can happen again?
100%.
Definitely.
Are you gonna be prepared, or just what if just the game changes? And like, the game is always changing.
Always, man.
So we have to always be subject to that change. Period. Always subject to change. Position yourself to be subject to change. But that's why keeping our eyes and ears open to where the world is going, and the basics of that, to play it safe. Just pay attention to where technology is going, because wherever technology is going, that's the world is going to follow that.
That's true, and technology is moving at a fast pace, as you can see it. Man, there's some stuff right now that I'm watching that they're gonna take these jobs out of these Hollywood people, that now you're gonna be able to create Pixar movies through AI. It's not even come out yet, but it's on the run. And I'm like,
Bro,
holy.
I know actors right now because they just had. I know
They
actors
were on
that
strikes.
exactly.
Isn't that crazy? That if you don't see that right now, that they're like putting it on your face, it might not be out. And when it comes out and it's just a beta,
You look. You people had better believe they are trying to figure out. They are working. It's not about figuring out. They are creating the way where they do not need the individual people anymore.
they don't.
And guess let me. So this is another highlight. The main reason why they don't need outside of just AI in general is because, like we said earlier, the data. So they already have enough data on just about everybody on this planet, right? As an individual character or avatar, where they can recreate the likeliness of the character or actor by way of data and the fact that your Hollywood contracts as an actor, an entertainer, you've already given your rights or them the rights to be able to recreate and replicate versions of you, and you don't even realize what that really means in depth until what's about to happen is going to happen. You know what I'm saying? It's like, see, as artificial intelligence is growing, the laws are going to be subject to change, or new laws are going to have to be put in place. Mm-hmm. But you better believe a lot of the sharks in the world that control media and stuff like that, these laws are going to be built to still complement their agenda. You see what I mean? So, and they're going to be able to leverage the fact that people are already in these contracts, right? So a lot of people are already in the contracts. I just watched an interview. I forgot his name. I know he played Ali in one of the movies. I think it was called A Night in Harlem, A Night in Miami, or something like that. He was playing. He played Ali, and he played some other significant roles. But he was supposed to get like a major role in, I think, Godzilla, in one of the Godzilla movies. He couldn't do it because he had a contract with the season that he was in, and they would not release him. Mm. And the reason why they could not release him is because they own the rights to his likeliness. Your likeliness is your voice, your image, your face, see, when you watch a movie, if I watch you on a movie screen, right? That's not you, because you say if me and you went to watch a movie or whatever, and we happen to be standing right next to each other, and we're watching you on the screen, your premiere of your movie, right? You are next to me, right? But the digital projection, a digital projection of you is on the screen. That's your likeliness. You might own you, but they own that. Mm-hmm. And they have the right, they have particular rights to maintain that and to control that for as long as, now who knows, because the bad part about a lot of these contracts that I've seen is that when people sign off on these waivers and stuff, there's no end date. Mm. That is a huge... I don't know if this was purposely done or what. There is no end date. So that means, if this is a reality in the industry, think about how many people are really slaves to their likeliness. Hmm. That's why some of the best actors you'll never see, probably hear about.
That's true.
So so how do we protect ourselves? Is by understanding the importance of understanding the reservations of rights within contracts. So this is where we go into contract law inside the University of Malachi and other aspects of law such as intellectual property law, trademark law. We have to reserve our rights within our contracts. You know, when you sign these contracts, stop signing it without reserving your rights by signing as simple as just signing UCC 1-308 next to your signature. That alone will help reserve your rights within that contract. You know, and then knowing the power to be able to make amendments to contracts. So if there's no end date on a contract, you can amend that contract and put an end date on that contract. You know what I'm saying? Trademarking your likeliness, or trademarking the legal person. So when you go into contract, the company that's presenting you the contract is contracting with a legal person. So it could either be, you know, if your name is John Smith, but you're an actor, but your actor role is, you know, Hurricane Kane. You know, if you're a rap artist or something, say if you're Hurricane Kane or whatever. Now they're signing Hurricane Kane for, you know, X amount of albums or X amount of movies, right? So that has nothing to do with John Smith, though. Right? It does to a degree, but their licensing, the contract is related to Hurricane Kane. So now, before you go into contract with anybody in relation to Hurricane Kane, you need to be the first in line and first in time to solidify your position, your control over the legal person first by creating a brand, the name. If it has a logo, if you have like a lot of names, like especially artists, they have a certain way, a certain font that they use, or certain that's considered, that's like a brand, like a logo brand. So once that's created, now you need to go straight to that patent office or hire you the competent attorney to trademark that brand, trademark that mark the mark to secure the mark. So when they ask you the classification of that mark, which is tied to that legal entity that you're going into the contract with, you're going to say, you know, jewelry, clothing, you know, media. You know, now you're marking the classifications of that mark and covering the classifications of that mark. So now when you go into contract with that mark, nobody has the legal power to use or misuse that the rights of that name and to that name without your consent. And if they do, they will be cutting you a big fat check.
That's facts, man. All of that stuff, and any job or anything in being a business, you got to check the contracts. You got to read, man. Nobody wants to read. You go to a new apartment, a house, or anything, you don't read. Mm-hmm. You don't. Nobody reads, man. And I was like, man, you got to make sure you're like, hey, give me some time. I'm going to read it, and then I get back to you.
Yep.
Don't sign it right in there.
No.
But they're good.
Yeah, oh,
Those people are good as hell, man. They got the different mindset that they connect something within you, and you're like, you know what? Let me sign it right now. Trust me. And the same way as you are good to, you know, with signing in clients, they're good at what they do.
100%. They're great negotiators, and because always in the midst of an offer. You know, it's an offer. You don't want to. A lot of times, if you just now getting in the game, or you might not be in the best financial position in life, and you have an opportunity. It's like shit. You ain't really worried about none of that. Until because it's the mindset of it's like that poverty mindset. You know, like shit. If I only got a couple of dollars to my name, and they about to give me a, that 10,000 or 100,000 is gonna sound amazing right now. You see what I mean? Mm-hmm. So it's like it's not until you go into that other world and you start evolving. Now you want to grow now. So now you're not, now a couple of dollars to you is 10 grand or 100 grand. That's a couple of dollars to you now. You know what I'm saying? Because your class has changed. Now you're no longer low class. You're no longer mid class. Now you're high class. So now in this class, but inside of every class you have a top and a bottom. Right? So you go to middle class. Now the question is, are you the top of the class or the bottom. Every class, there's new floors and new ceilings, and everybody that wants to continue to grow is always going to be trying to grow past into the next class, the highest level of that class. So that's when those concerns happen, when they be like, hey, I'm trying to, move on and do this into my life, and you realize, damn, I can't do it because of a contract I signed back in the day.
Yeah, and you gotta have lawyers too to make sure.
Better believe it.
Yeah, but with all of this stuff that you said, the trademarks and everything, business credit, personal credit, all that matters, and they're both different.
Yes.
Even to me, like a couple of years, I didn't know. I thought it was the same thing, and then the done numbers and I didn't know none of that stuff because they don't teach you this in school. Yeah, you might go to business school and this, but they're not gonna teach you. It's not the reality.
It's not. Well, it was not the traditional curriculum in public school systems, especially, was not intended for people to be competent in any areas of law, in any areas economically in general, credit, whether consumer or business. Because it doesn't complement the agenda. If we have a whole bunch of competent people on, because now you're subject to creating a world of self-sufficient, people,
Workers, not thinkers.
Yeah, exactly. And that don't serve them nothing. They need people to be inspired to go get a job and work. Stuff like that.
It's crazy, right? Because now I see it how the kids go to school and the bus picks you up, and then you go to the prison. The buses is the prison is the same thing. You see the lunches, they're almost the same eating. It's like we went to prison since we were little.
Yeah.
And now we're putting our kids to the same
shit.
And I'm like, hey, I ain't gonna do that. I mean, that's not right. I know it's tough because you're like, well, you gotta have money. You wanna have somebody that can teach your kids at home. Mm-hmm. And then you teach them the reality. I might have a daughter and I teach her all around what it is about business and what it is to be an employee as well. So I want her to have the both mindsets and where I'm coming from. And now, dude, she wants to be a film director. She has a mind of its own. She just recently told me 3 different stories that she wants to make them on a series like Netflix. I'm like, man, dude, I think I cried there because I was like, and she's 11. I'm like, that's what you need to be teaching your kids, how to be a thinker. How can they create? They're creators. But if we don't do that and we just let the school system teach them, they're not gonna learn anything.
Yeah, you're right.
And I'm just impressed about her, and I'm about to see her on Christmas because she's not here with me. But I talk to her every day, and I teach her every day, and I teach her the characters and discipline and habits. And you got to teach the kids what to eat too, because not everything is good out there. Even though we like McDonald's and this stuff, it's not good for you. Mm-hmm. All of this stuff truly matters.
Yeah, it do.
All of it. But can you just, I know we got a couple of more minutes, but I really want to get you to talk a little bit about the difference of the business credit and the personal credit.
So business credit, well, I guess we can go over the misperceptions, because a lot of people make what we consider poor or bad personal credit. Mm-hmm. So that can kind of hinder a person or limit a person from thinking it's possible to develop business credit, let alone good business credit. Because the illusion is that if you got bad personal credit, you can't build, business credit. So business credit is completely separate from your personal credit. It does not matter what level your personal credit is on. That does not stop you from starting to build, and that does not stop you from building up a relatively strong business credit profile. Now, if you do have the objective is to have a strong personal credit, so we always still recommend a person doing whatever they have to do to whether you need credit restoration, credit repair, and stuff like that to still to it's like a continuous thing. You always have to maintain your credit, so whatever needs to be cleaned up, clean it up. Whatever has to be done, do it, because it's always gonna serve your best interest, because you're gonna be able to position your personal credit to be able to leverage your personal credit to help expedite the credit building process of the business credit. You see what I mean? Mm-hmm. So now you have co-signer abilities. So look at your personal credit as your own personal co-signer for your business. So if you go to apply for some stuff for your business, the business doesn't have enough credit to solidify the arrangement on its own, you can now personally guarantee that particular deal, right, on the behalf of the business. So that's what people, I think, misunderstand about that. And now, do you need to do that? No, but it's going to take more time. It's going to take more time to develop a strong enough business credit profile. And so you got to think about the standards too. So typically when it comes to like lenders, they look at different things, different aspects of the business, such as everybody wants money. Everybody wants money. And a lot of motivation why people start businesses and stuff like that, because they watch the internet, TikTok videos, and somebody say, yeah, just start your LLC and I can get you $100,000 and blah, blah, blah. So they really think that, hey, now if you got an 800 personal credit score, we probably can make something happen. You got the proper funding resources. Yes, that's possible. But if you have poor personal credit, that is not going to happen. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Because you're not going to be able to start an LLC today, get an EIN number, and then you shouldn't even be talking about funding right now. When you first start that LLC, it's like having a newborn baby. That newborn baby has to be nourished and developed, mm-hmm. And you develop that baby by establishing business relationships. So it first starts out with vendors. You have your net 30, net 60, net 90 vendors. So these are companies that extend you in-house lines of credit. So an in-house line of credit is like, if let's say Macy's or let's speak particular, like you have Uline, Granger, Quill, and places like that are typical net 30 vendors that people go to start off their business credit. These guys are going to give you, anywhere between maybe $1,000, $2,000, dollars in in-house credit, meaning that you can use this credit to purchase products with our company. It's not a credit card. You can't go pay your bills with it. I've heard crazy stories. People really be thinking this stuff. No, they're only extending credit for you to use with them. And so when you hear the word net 30, net 60, net 90, all these numbers simply signify is that's how many days you have to cure the balance of the order. So you go get a printer from Quill or Uline or whatever, and they're gonna invoice you. So if it's December 1st, I have 30 days. I have 30 days to cure, and I have net 30 terms. That means I have 30 days to cure the balance of this transaction, or they're gonna report a negative payment on my credit report. So, but if I satisfy the invoice within the 30 days, that's going to be a positive reporting on my business credit. So you want to have countless numbers of these credit interactions with multiple vendors. I recommend 10 to 12, if not more. So you want to just so people always act like, well, how many I got to do? Don't even think about it like that. Just the first thing, I think the easiest way to do that is to understand, to build strong business credit, is to understand that building business credit and business credit in general is a lifestyle. So if you adapt the lifestyle of business credit, now you won't be counting how many purchases you're making or whatever like that, because you have adopted the lifestyle, meaning that your mindset is going to be different. That means that you're going to start asking questions before you spend money now as a business owner. So that when you go to the gas station to pump that gas, you're going to say, "Hey, I go to Shell's, I go to Shell's every day to get gas." Are you personally making these purchases, or are you making these purchases for the business or under your business? You know, are you getting credit for this transaction? So you want to make sure you get credit for as much as you do as possible. So if I'm getting gas every day, I want to establish a business credit card, a business fleet card with this gas station. So now every time I spend the same amount of money I'm going to spend anyway, now I'm going to get credit for that transaction, as well as a line of credit. Usually they give you like $2,500 or $5,000 a month for fleet purchases. And outside of that, excuse me. Outside of that, you want to if you need supplies for your business, find a company that's going to give you credit for supplies for your business, and keep that same mindset. Only shop and do business with companies that are going to give you credit for your transactions, and then before you know it, you're going to have a strong business credit profile. That's kind of the simple way that I put it. And now, over time, you're going to be in position to qualify for lending opportunities, funding opportunities. So now you allowed your business time to develop. Now you have history, because now the business has history. So now it's 1 year old, 2 years old, because the banks and lenders look for stuff like that. How long have you been in business? Anything under 2 years old, they're always going to overanalyze, and and you're going to qualify for less the younger the business is, especially if the business does not have any credit history, and if you're not in a position to personally guarantee that particular loan.
Man, you just dropped a lot of good knowledge in there, brother. I was just listening to everything, but that's good because people need to hear this. People need to understand the differences of that, of what was the net 30. I didn't know that until you explained it. I just listen to TikTok like everybody else. And but now I realize when I hear that, they never show, they like you said, oh yeah, go get this, they're gonna give you 100,000. But then you explain it. Well, if you have a poor credit, that's not gonna happen. And you don't see these other people doing a little bit of a 30-second short and asking, well, if this is they just give you like, oh hell yeah, I'm gonna get the LLC, and then boom, and nothing happened.
That's not, and nor does that teach you business ethics and management and stuff like that comes with the territory. Because the thing is that a lot of things apply to this. So if you think about when you fill out a loan application, they ask you for particular things: name of the business, EIN number, articles of incorporation. How long have you been in business? It's best to be in business for 2 years plus, but that's not mandatory. But if you're not 2 years old or more, you better have everything else lined up. They're gonna ask for depending on the loan, bank statements, right? So to show proof of revenue or income or receivables. So now those bank statements need to show particular things, meaning that it needs to show. You need to have an average. You want to set an average account. They're not going to tell you this. So, but they're looking for your average account balance. How much on the closing month, on the closing of each month, how much on average is in your account? That is going to be pivotal. Also, on average, every month, what is the average amount of income generated through this account on average? That is going to count. You see, these are the most important points that an underwriter is going to be looking at when making a credit decision. So another key thing is that a lot of companies have adopted the KYC. So that's a system called Know Your Customer, right? Or KY or Know Your Business too. There's two different ones depending on what you're doing. So that means that if you're ever going through a loan application, and they ask you to or give you the option, a lot of times you do have the option to opt out and to just manually send them your bank statements. But a lot of times, a lot of people are getting accustomed and used to just attaching their bank account, meaning they ask you to log into your account through their system. It's convenient, get it because they say, oh, get an instant approval, which is true. But you better understand, if your business is not in order, that is gonna hurt. That's gonna play against you. And I'm saying, even if you have the average account balance that they're looking for, so the average account balance may be $5,000 or $10,000 a month or whatever, right? Or the average revenue may be, you might have to show 5,000, 10,000, whatever whatever you're looking for. So let's say if you actually accomplish this, right? You still might get denied, because when you attach your bank account to their system, they're using artificial intelligence to read the algorithms of your transactions to determine the monthly transaction type. They use this information as data to determine your spending behavior. So that means that they're classifying whether a transaction is personal or business. So if you're going for a business funding and you're filling out a business funding application and you have high transaction rates of personal transactions, you're gonna get denied. You see what I mean? So if you know if you know you have to use that business account often to do a lot of your personal stuff, which or you have done that before you fill out this application, you better know that it's not going to be in your best interest to use that feature. Just tell them that you prefer to just send them the physical copies of your bank statements. That's a very important key.
Very important.
Outside of that, in relation to the topic of bank statements, a lot of people are not going to be subject to qualify for funding and lending opportunities, because I know a lot of people that are not even bankable, or meaning that they're not banking, or they're not banking properly. So if you say, all right, if somebody asks you for the last 3 months bank statements, there is no bank statements. So it's not, it's like, oh shit, I gotta hurry up and get some bank statements. So, because they're not banking. They're not doing any business banking. Why? Because they have failed for the convenience of these other money receiving apps, such as Cash App, and mainly Cash App is one of the biggest ones. Cash App in business is horrible. Cash App does not, I know they have a business account feature now. That is not, maybe sometime in the future they might evolve. Cash App is not a business friendly, or it's not, it doesn't complement your business at all. It actually hurts the business. For one, it's not a proper accounting system. It doesn't have any proper accounting, meaning that, if somebody makes a purchase with my company today, and then something happens, now let's say they order the product, and we produce the product, we ship the product, we did our job, but something happens down the line, I don't know, and we need to go back into our records to determine, you know, to resolve this situation. Cash App doesn't provide substantial enough record of any transaction to determine any particulars in relation to the transaction. Why? Because there's no proper invoicing system. People are just sending money. What they give you a little small note section when you send some money, but what can you really put full transaction details or specifications as it relates to a service that you're providing? The service details is something that goes inside of the invoice, right? It's like, okay, what is the service? How much the service costs? Your terms and conditions, your refund policy, all of these things, right? So if you don't have these things in place, not only are you not have proper bookkeeping, now you're not. And a lot of people use that Cash App card. So now when you go to ask for bank statements, you don't have anything. They don't. A lender is not going to look at Cash App receipts. They're going to laugh at you. You know what I'm saying? They're not going to laugh, but they're going to deny you. That's what laughing means in that word. So it's like they're just not, unless you're sending money to your kids or something, that just don't even think about using Cash App. On top of that, in business, people think about making money, but they don't think about the cost of business and the potential liability of business with doing business, online business transactions, meaning that you have good clients and you also have bad ones. So what happens when you provide a service, you actually provide a service, and then 1 month down the line, 2 months down the line, it's been we've had clients, it's been 6 months down the line, and they go back to the merch. They go to their banks and they file a dispute on the transaction. So now you have what we call chargebacks. Chargebacks is some of the worst things, negative points you can have on your business, on your merchant accounts, on your or against your business, because now if a company is going based upon the records of the transactions. And the relationships between, because that's how they calculate the relationship between, and the credibility as well, but the relationships between you and your clients and the business that you're conducting. If you have high chargeback rates, you're gonna get denied, and chargebacks are just as bad as having a missed payment on your credit report, and everybody knows that that's devastating, right? So. And you can have a low chargeback rate, but let's say if you just went to go apply for something, and somebody just let's say you sold thousands of dollars of products and services this month, but for hundreds of dollars and thousands of dollars, but somebody came and did a dispute and did a chargeback on your account for $50. Let's say 2 people did that. Those 2 people could have been the main reason why you got a denial for that long, for $50 transactions.
Boom.
It's
man, can you believe that? I didn't even look at the time.
Huh?
I wasn't even looking at the time. 1 hour and 18 minutes. I didn't even want to cut you off. Because I was paying. Every time I do this, like all of my other clients, I just pay attention.
Yeah.
And then I look at, oh man. Because they tell me, because they got to go too. I was like, holy crap. But I was just listening because everything you said, man, everything is important.
Man.
And like I said, these topics and everything, you can do it 2 hours.
Bro, this is like, this is the background music. This is the real business behind the scenes. This is what the internet don't talk about.
No,
you know what I'm saying? Because if we talk about everything that we talking about right now in translation to the people that's used to this other stuff, they be like, oh no, that sounds like it's too much. We just gonna run and do this. They think that as if they can avoid what we're talking about.
Oh no.
If you're not digesting what we're talking about right now, you can run, jump, and go and think you're skipping something. You're going to run straight to a brick wall of denials. And you're going to wonder why. Why? I got my LLC. I got my EIN. Why they deny me? You know,
Yep.
because guess what? Everything that we're talking about is things that you need to have in place first.
Yep.
Because if we're talking about merchant accounts, bro, if we're talking about merchant accounts, it may take you a couple weeks to set that up, depending on the merchant, and depending on the type of business. Now, for me, I needed for one of my businesses, I needed a high risk merchant, right? So this is for a high risk business.
Sorry for cutting you up, brother. I just wanted to, because I forgot I gotta go and do another podcast.
Okay.
No, I want you to finish up what you're saying,
okay.
and then
let's do it.
Gotcha.
So a high risk business is credit repair, right? So you need a particular merchant for that. So I had to go through a company called Payment Cloud. So Payment Cloud does the hard work and labor on certifying the business to make sure the business is legit, is up and running. Like somebody actually has to come down to your office to make sure that you have an office, that you're set up, you're running. They take a look at your books, all that, your clientele, clientele sheets to make sure you're actually in operation. And then once they give you the stamp of approval, now you actually can establish the account with the actual merchant, right? So once that's done, now this took extra time to establish, but now you're in a more secure position and controllership position of the merchant. Merchantability, I just created a word for your company. So now you not only have invoice power, you can completely control the ins and outs of the transactions of your business. Now you can take payments over the phone via invoice or whatever. You see what I mean? And now you can have a high risk business and still provide invoice merchant structure. So the power of the merchant, people don't want to go through this process, but at the end of the day, these are the things that can help, benefit your business in the long run.
Thank you, brother. That was amazing. Good information.
Absolutely.
Really good.